Dr. Maheshwari is a passionate teacher and a mentor. Dr. Maheshwari has plus 10 years of academic and plus 2 years of corporate experience. He is an expert in the area of educational, pedagogical innovations, advertising, rural marketing, marketing of financial services, and international marketing. He strongly believes that the true purpose of education is to make minds, not the careers. He has also worked with Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, New Delhi, and currently he is working as associate professor in marketing at Indian Institute of Forest Management, Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. Prateek sir, we are eagerly waiting to hear you, and Prateek sir, over to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you, team STTP at IPS Academy. Thank you to the director, sir, and all the people at IPS for providing this opportunity to talk to all of you. I'll try to I keep this session not only a one-way dialogue, but basically one-way monologue, right? That is basically we'll be having a dialogue kind of thing. So I'll be having many examples where I'll be seeking your opinion. The broader perspective of this session is basically to talk on the idea of digital marketing, especially the role of digital disruptions in your I would say in marketing context, right? And how this digital scenario will change post COVID era, especially during COVID and then post COVID era, how and what changes will occur. That is what will be the whole point of discussion for me to for this session, right? So before we actually begin, let me just introduce you to the topic. That is basically we'll be talking of digital marketing ecosystem as a whole, and then how things will change in the post-COVID era. That will be the main focus, and what digital can do for us as a marketeer, as a faculty of marketing, as a managers for marketing. That is what will be the idea for today's session will be, right? This is the broad agenda which I have what social media can do for us. A small case first, we'll be having a brief discussion on that, which will let us know. So we'll be starting from that part, that is what digital can do for us. That is the first part or the first point which we'll be having a discussion on. And then we will be having more detailed discussion on the digital aspects in recent scenario, that is around 2018-19, how things have changed. I'm talking of before COVID. That will be the second point of discussion. Then suddenly all of us are aware that COVID happened. In last year, our whole year was basically under the grip of COVID, right? Corona and everything like that is lockdown, social distancing, wearing mask, right? Quarantine, getting quarantine. So that is what the pandemic has done to us. So we learned. I mean, we were never aware of these words like quarantine, social distancing, or self quarantine, something like that. At least till now, this pandemic happened. So how this pandemic has changed our lives as consumers, right? And as a consumer, if we have changed our consumer behavior, our way of dealing with the marketing perceptions will change. That is what we'll be having a discussion in the next part of my presentation or the discussion. And
Prateek
then
sir,
finally,
Prateek
yes,
sir,
ma'am, yes,
sorry to interrupt in
yes,
between. Your PPT is not visible. It has a
okay,
square
okay,
black in between the PPT. So just
okay.
close it once and then restart it, sir. I think that
Okay,
would
okay, let me check.
set up the issue. Prateek sir, we are unable to hear you.
even I'm just checking at my end. That is. Let me check. Okay. Now I'm sharing it again, ma'am. Let just confirm me, is it visible or not? Please enable me to share the content. Nidhi ma'am?
Prateek sir, just a minute, just a moment, please.
Sure. No issue.
Now you can.
Is it visible now, ma'am? At your end?
Sir, it is visible, sir. It is visible, sir.
Hello?
Sir, it is visible now.
Okay, great. So so what I was saying is basically this part, that is the agenda for today's session is talking of what digital can do for us, that is social media can do for us, and then basically we'll be digging deeper into the into the same, that what all it has done in past 10 years or a decade or so, that is what digital has done for us. And based on that discussion, we'll come to the point, that is how pandemic has changed our lives, how pandemic has changed we as consumers, and what digital media can do for us in that scenario. That will be the whole idea of discussion. Finally, based on all this discussion, we'll be having some takeaways, some insights which are to be taken from this session as a marketeer, as a faculty for marketing, as a managers, marketing managers or brand managers, and what digital media can do for you, and what digital medium or social medium can do for us as a marketer. That will be the whole idea of this discussion, right? So as I told, that before I actually begin, let's first look at this video. That is a very small case of inspired by Iceland. Let's first look at this, then I'll just ask few of you to have your opinions about the same, that what basically this video is all about. That is one question. And second thing, we'll be having a discussion on that, what digital as a medium, what through this video what you can get is basically digital as a medium did for Iceland. That is the two idea which we'll be having. Then building upon this, we'll be having further or subsequent discussions regarding the detailed point which digital has done in past 3, 4, 5 years, that is around 2017, 18 and 19. And then finally, we'll be landing up to the scenario, that is the COVID scenario and post-COVID scenario, right? So let's first have a look at this video, so that you will be having, you will be in a position to understand what I mean by when I'm saying, just a second, right? Let me just. So let's first look at this video, and then we will be having. Nadima, what is visible at your end?
So YouTube window, sir.
Okay, great. So let's first look at this, and then we will be having a small discussion on this video, so that you all are in a position to understand that what digital is doing for us, right? Ma'am, please confirm the audio is visible. The video is audible to you also?
Sure, sir. It is audible.
Great. So let's first have a look at this, and then we'll be having a brief discussion on the same, right?
There are warnings the debris could cause significant disruption to international services.
And thousands of travellers are camping out at airports. Biggest airspace shutdown since the Second World War.
People of Iceland have always been proud and honored to share our country with others.
I've been enjoying mostly just driving, walking in all kinds of weather in Iceland, and I feel a really strong connection to it.
So with this, first let me ask some of you, what did you get out of this, watching this video? What is your understanding, or what did you, any one of you, or say 2-3 people of you that who were interested? Otherwise, I'll start picking you from the list. So just first tell me, what is your opinion about the video which you watched just now, and what this video is related to the context which I'm trying to set. Anybody?
Basically, social media is not all about negativity, spreading negativity always.
Okay, that's
This
one
is
perspective.
what I.
Okay, great.
And
Anybody else?
through social media,
One by one, please.
okay, social media is the best tool these days. Through that, you can create a lot of awareness, and once a person joins, it becomes a movement.
Okay, great.
Yes. So like sir, like one of the same thing, even I was like, I was sharing that time that the video started with the line that whenever there is a negative wave of emotions, it can be offset only by the positive sharing of thoughts and emotions. So first half of the video was all about volcanic eruptions which occurred in Iceland, and
Okay.
then we had a the government or the people of Iceland, they together tried to use social platform in order to offset those mindsets of like volcanic eruptions or the negative publicity of the country per se. So this is how that social media act in order to create a positive wave for the Iceland.
Okay, great. Professor Kavita, you
Hello,
have raised
sir.
your hand.
Yeah. Through this video, I just would like to add, we can see the spark of social media now in this pandemic, sir. Because of social media, we people are stay connected with each other, and media consumption definitely will be higher.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. So combining all of you, some of you just talked of the power of social media. That is one, right? Some of you talked of the beating the negative wave with the positive wave. That is what some of you told of, right? Very correct. Broadly, what I just wanted you to understand, all of you to understand, is basically this first point, that what social media or what digital medium can do for us, right? Now let's understand this in a better way. That basically this video is of a very famous campaign which was run by country that is inspired by Iceland, and the whole idea of this campaign was basically to counter the negative waves which were there around the which were built around the eruption of the volcano which happened in 2010, right? Now the whole world was already struggling with the global financial crisis, and Iceland was no different at that time, right? This was the time of 2008, 9, 10, around that time, when the prime minister of that country, that is Iceland, said that we are actually into real danger, and if we do not take proper actions, we will lead to, we will be bankrupt as a country. That was the statement which was made by the Prime Minister at that time, right? And then suddenly the ice on the cake, I would say, that is basically in April 2010, volcano erupted, right? Though the phrase is not the right way to put it here, but ultimately just in 2010, the volcano erupted, and that actually created more problems for the country, which was already struggling with the global financial crisis, which were already having many issues with the on financial front, right? And it became more important for Iceland because of the eruption of volcano. People were actually there were negative stories around and negative opinions about the country, and therefore people who were actually planning to visit the country, there were cancellations. There were the people were not now ready to go to the country because of all this negative opinion which was happening around the which was built around the country by the international media, right? They were not intentionally doing it, but that was a fact, right? So because of all this, suddenly there was a huge decrease, or I would say there is a fall in tourism numbers for Iceland. And being an economy which is mainly dependent on tourism, right? It became more challenging for the country to fight with this. That is the whole idea of showing you this video, right? If proper action would not have taken by the country, then there was a possibility of long-term damage to the Iceland's tourist destination image, right? Which will create losses not only this year or years to come, but even for decades to come. That is what the whole idea of this. So that was a very alarming situation for the country. Now, beauty of the fact is of the case is basically not the challenges which the Iceland was facing at that time, right? But how they responded it in a very quick manner, and that has become a case, and that is to be taught across many courses in marketing, in digital marketing courses and advertising by me. That is basically the whole idea of discussing this. This is what digital medium can do for us. This is what digital medium can do for brands. This is what digital medium can do for companies or even countries, right? So that one thing was very clear, that traditional campaign would not have would not have helped the country. That was one very important thing which was already the country has realized, right? So what they did, instead of using a traditional campaign, traditional media like TV, newspapers and everything, or PR agencies saying that we are safe, our country is safe, please do visit us, some immediate action was done, and that was taken by a campaign called Inspired by Iceland, which was obviously a joint efforts by government, airlines, tourism companies, ad agencies, and of course the people who are there, right? But people would not have joined if the efforts by the government and airlines would not have put using this conceptualization of this whole campaign that is inspired by Iceland, right? So the whole idea of the campaign was basically unite, so that we can share positivity around the world about our country. Based on the sharing, we may not, but we may get rewarded. That was actually the whole idea, or I would say the basic model behind this campaign, which worked for this campaign, right? Now let's have a quick look at this model which I'm talking of, that is unite, share, and then basically get rewarded, right? So conventional model, instead of using the conventional model, what marketing scholars call it, or what basically in the literature of marketing it is called, is social participation model. That is what this model is known as, or actually projected as. And secondly, most importantly, that is basically using the social media and the media of the people who are involved in the campaign, right? So earlier, the campaign used to target the tourist, saying that you do visit Iceland as a country, as a tourist destination, you will be having a very different experience. While in this campaign that is inspired by Iceland, they actually targeted fans and people. So they were not targeting directly to the tourist, but they were actually targeting to the fans and the people, saying that you be the part of this campaign, you are the target audience. Because ultimately, using you as a platform, we will be reaching out to the potential audience. That was the first difference between the model, right? Earlier, the role of the communication used to be persuade the people to visit. So ultimately all of you will agree that any marketing communication, the main role is basically to create attention and generate interest, and then finally persuading those people to purchase your product or at least come to the shop to have a look at the product, right? In the same way, earlier the campaigns of Iceland were basically persuading people, or any other campaign of tourism try to persuade people to visit, but here they were not persuading visitors, they were actually inspiring fans and the people of the Iceland, that is citizens of the Iceland, to participate in the camp, right, using their own social media platforms and other activities which were built around, right? The message was not to visit the country, but actually to share your story. If you have been to the country earlier, if you are not, if you have never been to the country, but if you are a resident or if you are a citizen of the country, then just share your story, share story of your place, share story of your experience in the country. And that is what the whole idea was, right? And finally, using a broadcast media, not using a broadcast media, rather using social media, using people as media to actually reach out to your target audience, right? That is what the difference between the two, and that is what digital did for this country, that is Iceland. Though long back, it has been around 10-11 years now, but still it is equally relevant, especially in context of India, and became more relevant after actually the COVID crisis, right? Now, what we achieved out of this, what we learned out of this, is basically the power of marketing and marketing communication. To be specific, the power of social media and digital media. So this is what digital medium, social medium, various social platforms can do for us, can do for brands, can do for we as a marketeer to reach out to the potential audience, right? What role people, some of you have talked of this, that what role people can do, or what role people can play to turn all the negative opinions of this to the positive opinion, right? That is the second thing, or the second broader perspective which we learned. And to be honest, this can be done by many medium, but social media or digital media is the best option to do this. That is converting the negative to positive, or even I would say even positive to negative. Obviously, the reverse is also true. But here in this case, how negative opinion can be converted or can be translated from being negative to the positive opinions, right? And obviously the power of the people, their involvement in making a message to a global movement, or I would say a global presence, showing your global presence through digital media, right? I hope all of you will recall something if I ask you. Otherwise, I'm just answering this question, that the recent thing which has happened in 2019 election. Can anybody speak on that? What happened in 2019, and can you relate it with the sorry, not 19, yes, 19, and then basically before that 2014. There were two things which happened in these 2 years. Can anybody relate two moments which happened in 2014 and 19 with the example, or which with the case which we have discussed right now? So I'm talking of 2014 incidents in 2014. Can you recall something? And 2019, can you recall something? Because they are very close to the example which I'm giving you. Anybody? Otherwise, I'll give you the answer. Dr. Kale, Dr. Swapnil Kale, are you there? Okay. Anybody else? Say Bhavna Saxena, if you are there, would you like to recall something, or are you able to recall something related to the example which I have given you? Talking of people's involvement in making a message, a campaign, or I would say a movement, or anybody who can recall it. If not, then let me just give the answer. One thing is basically...
Sorry, Prateek sir. Can we talk about Man Ki Baat over here? Can we relate this with Man Ki Baat and a particular representative?
Okay, maybe okay, Nidhi ma'am, maybe close, right? Anybody else? I mean, just I'm giving you some specific hints, and that too related to political. What happened in 2012, 13, 14? I'm talking of, that is one thing. Second thing, what happened in 2019 against BJP? I'm not with BJP or Congress, but I'm giving you an example which is very close to the case which we are discussing, saying that the involvement of the people to using digital media to make a message, a mass movement. Okay, let me just give you some hint. I hope all of you will are aware of Lokpal as a word, right? Now, can you attempt something regarding that? Jan Lokpal, Lokpal, or something like that. Okay. So the answer is basically in 1213, it is basically, or 11, 12, 13, I don't remember exactly the year, but it was basically the Anna movement, right? This Anna movement, which was actually started by Kejriwal and then Anna introduced, came into, we all as young people, right? And not only young people, but other people also came into existence, came on roads. They actually came on roads using, and digital was a powerful medium to actually use that concept of Jan Lokpal bill or maybe Anna or against something like that, right? In the same way, recent example which I just wanted you people to understand is basically the example of maybe Chokidar, right? Congress was actually constantly hitting against BJP with the fact that basically Chokidar Chor, right? And that became a very famous punchline for Congress, and they were actually getting tractions on it, right? To counter this, using social media platform, the thing which was done by BJP is basically that maybe Chokidar, right? So it was started by the key leader of BJP, and then basically it was circulated among all the ministers, and then common masses also get involved in the same. That is how basically you counter the negative opinions with the positive opinions. Even the positive opinions can be countered with negative opinions using the digital media, or I would say digital medium or social medium. And that is what actually the power this case talks of regarding the power of social media and digital media, right? Now let's move ahead with the with our agenda. So this is what, though the example is an old example, but talks of the fact that what digital medium can do for us, what social medium can do for us, and that is what basically this case, small case, talked of, right? Now things have not changed. Rather, in Indian context, things have started growing in context of digital medium, and that is basically the next point of discussion. So I'll be having two slides which will let you know that how in Indian context things are changing on digital front, right? I'll be talking of two things, that is 2019, 2 years rather I would say, and then 2000 and before that, that is 2018, to make you understand that what digital is doing in Indian context, right? Just read at these facts which are there in front of you on your screen. Only two slides. One is of the year 2019, one is of the year 2018. They are taken from the Google trending reports, right? So Google Trend is a famous website. I have taken, there are certain reports which are available. I have taken these facts. The reports are very big, but I have taken some specific facts from those reports which are very relevant for this session, and to make you understand that how the scenario is changing in recent years for Indian context, right? So there is a 75% growth on year basis in near me queries. So people have started. So for example, in 2018, 17, 18, if people would have searched 100 about the near me hospitals, near me, say for example, restaurants, near me hotels or something like that, the same thing was increased to 175 in the year 2019. That is one interesting fact which is given by that Google, right? 85% rise in the beard shampoo, 55% rise in the beard oil, 30% rise in the face mask searches, right? This 2019, therefore face mask is not the mask which we are using right now. This is actually the face mask which is used as a cosmetic item, right? That is what basically this face mask is all about, right? 40% growth in the dating related searches and 13% growth in matrimonial related searches. So people have started searching more regarding the dating part, and even there is an increase in the matrimonial searches on internet. That is what I'm talking of, right? 23% growth in the credit and debit card transactions. That is one thing which happened in 2019. And about 7 times increase in the average transaction value of credit cards. That is in 2019. Obviously, the fact would have changed in 2020 and 2021. The things will be much higher as compared to the facts I'm talking of, and in a very different direction, right? Now let's have look at some more facts, that is these 4 more bullet points, that is of the case that is 2018, and basically the report is of 2018. So huge increase in the searches regarding the education, online education, right? So 44% searches from non-metros, and that too from non-metros. That is very interesting to note. Parenting is moving online, right? That is another very interesting fact, which is there in the report. That is, people have now the new parents, right, have started, instead of asking their parents, they have started searching on YouTube, they have started searching on internet about baby care and many other things, do it yourself, regarding the regarding the parenting, right? 70% growth in the queries of online food ordering. This is in 2018. Just imagine how things would have changed, which I'll tell you later on also, but how things would have changed in recent months because of COVID, how things would have changed, right? Because now we are not preferring to go out, rather we are asking the brands and the restaurants to actually deliver at our end. That is what this is happening, right? So if there is a 70% growth in 2018, how things would have changed in 2020 and 2020 and then 2021? That is what we'll be having a later on discussion. But all these facts tells you one thing, that is how things are moving from traditional to the next big thing, that is basically digital, right? And then finally 100% growth in digital and regional entertainment in 2018, right? So now people are leaving their getting entertained through movies, or I would say YouTube videos, or even OTT content. They are now preferring, instead of simply English or Hindi, they are now preferring regional content, which is available there online on various OTT platforms, as well as basically your YouTube content, right? All these facts tells you one thing, which we started earlier, that is the case of Inspired by Iceland. Then we came to the context of India. So all these facts are in Indian context. They are not for the world, but they are in basically the context of India, right? The report talks of Indian context for these 2 years, right? All these facts tell you one very interesting thing, that now we as consumers, we as common masses, right, are moving towards more and more digital consumption, right? And this digital consumption has increased multifolds because of the COVID and the changes which COVID has brought to our lives, which we'll be having a small discussion later on. But broadly, just to give you some more details on the digital aspect, that how digital is, I mean, as a consumer, we are changing, and if consumers are changing, therefore, as a marketeer, as a brand, we need to take care of this aspect, the movement or the shift or the paradigm shift of the people from being traditional to basically more and more digital consumption. That is what these facts talks of, right? Now, obviously, I'm not talking something which is not out of the way, but all of you will agree that because of this pandemic, the things have changed. But how, in what way? That will be my focus of discussion. So all of you will agree that digital consumption has increased multifolds, right? That is very correct. But how this digital consumption and overall pandemic has changed we as consumers? And since we have changed as consumers, therefore, what are the implications for we as a marketeer for the purpose of digital marketing and social media marketing? That will be the discussion under this point, right? Now I'm giving all of you 5 to 10 minutes maximum I'm giving, right? And please don't use your mobile phones or any other medium that is internet, though I have taken all of them from internet. The idea why I'm saying so, that do not use any your mobile phones or internet is because of the simple fact that you'll miss the fun, right? So just take 5 minutes time and make a guess on the statements which I have written on the slide, right? I have made certain statements which tells you that how things have changed in Indian context. Let me just clarify, in Indian context, how things have changed on digital front, on various digital fronts, rather I would say, and what changes have happened in past 10 months. I'm talking not of last 10 years or 5 years or 8 years. I repeat, I'm talking of past 10 months. So what I'm asking you people to do is basically just go through all these statements or the bullet points. I have intentionally left the part blank that is basically this percentage part blank. Do not use mobile phones. Make a wild guess regarding the statements which I'm showing you at, which are there on the slide. That according to you, what is the growth or what is the percentage growth in the searches for 5-minute recipes? This I'm talking of past 10-12 months only. I'm not talking of an year or say 2 years or 3 years. I'm talking of around 8-10 months, that how things have changed in Indian context, right? This is what, let me clarify on this. So how things have changed on paying online, I mean bill, electric bill online, searches for gym at home, searches for, yes, hello.
Sir, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. Searches for yoga or you doing yoga. I mean, home tutorial for yoga at home, right? Then basically YouTube subscriber base and OTT, right? That is what another interesting thing. And then basically all these points. So UPI transactions, rise in the searches for Kada, rise in the searches for vitamin C tablets, or rise in the searches for Giloy, right? All these are somewhere related to consumer behavior and basically how the changes have happened in the consumer behavior. That is one thing. And secondly, more interestingly, that based on all these insights, what as a marketeer I should do, or I should be basically prepare myself as a brand on digital front. That is what the whole idea of this discussion would be, right? So just giving you 2, 3, 4 more minutes, so that you will be in a position to have a to have a wild guess regarding the facts, or so-called, I would say, the facts and figures which I'm trying you people to understand, right? So do one thing, just make a wild guess on the percentage basis that according to you, how many percentage or what percentage growth all these things have observed in last 10-12 months, right? And then I'll be just showing you some answers or the facts which are there. The idea is not to prove you wrong, because I have also taken the same thing from internet. The idea is not to actually tell you that it is very, I mean, you are wrong or something like that. But idea is just to surprise you that how things have changed in past 10 months, right? Because of COVID, especially I'm talking of. Already we were into the line of, I would say, digital medium. I would say we were already playing with the digital medium in India. The things were growing. Nothing new I'm talking of. But how COVID has changed the rate of the growth, that is interesting to understand. And that is what these small facts will let us know that how things have changed. Okay, so I hope by now you would have actually done, say, for example, 7, 8 of all this, right? I'm just showing you the answers to make you understand what I mean by when I'm actually saying that how things have changed. So when I'm saying that how things have changed in digital context, right? And how this has changed we as consumers. That is what this exercise will let us understand in a better manner, right? Growth in the searches for 5-minute recipes, especially during lockdown, I'm talking of. Obviously, now things have opened, so now we are not, preparing or cooking that much at our homes. But especially during lockdown last year, this is what the figure was. So there was around 56% rise in the 5-minute recipes. Overall, searches for recipes was basically 22%, right? Which YouTube videos have seen, right? How to pay electric bill online, that grew by 180%. Surprisingly, this is what the new thing, I mean, very big percentage, and this is going to remain. Now, once if you have learned how to do it online, you will not go back to the traditional medium, and that is what basically, that is what this thing will happen, right? In the same way, searches related to gym or yoga at home or the classes at home has increased by around 100% in both the cases, approximately, right? Average time spent on social media. Earlier we used to spend, I'm talking of social media, not internet. So we used to spend 1.5 to 2 hours on a daily basis. Now it has happened to 4 hours. That is a surprise increase. This is only for social media. If overall, if you ask me that how and what time we are spending on internet, then it will be more. So this will include OTT platforms, this will include YouTube videos, this will include many other things. So therefore, this will be around 7-8 hours on a daily basis, right? In the same way, increase in the searches for Pani Puri, or say for example UPI transactions, or even the searches for Kada, vitamin C and Giloy, which is one of the medicinal plant, right? All these things tell you something about the changing consumer behavior, not only on the digital front, but as well on many other fronts. That is, as human being we are changing, as human being if we are changing, definitely things will change for consumers also, right? So what all these things have implications. So first, briefly, I'll be talking of the changing consumers because of this COVID, and what implications this is having on digital front. That is what we'll be having a discussion on, right? So this new consumer, you, me, and all of us, right, is having fear and anxiety in the mind, and because of this fear and anxiety, new consumer attitude and behavior will come out, and which is coming out, right? All of you will agree with this. All of you would have experienced this, that how because of this anxiety and fear and a feeling of deprivation, that how we as consumers are now becoming or having new attitudes and behavior towards the purchase. That is what one thing which is happening, right? We all have emerged as a new human beings, and because of this new emergence, we have started behaving in a very different way. Our daily behavior has changed, our thinking has changed towards purchases, towards daily routine and everything. That is what the things have changed, right? Today, because of this COVID, people have started re-examining their purchase behavior, and they have started thinking on two directions. That is what to purchase, that is one, and secondly, more importantly, how much to purchase, right? All this is very important for organizations to understand, because there is a change in social interaction, events, and personal contexts. More and more things are moving towards digital, and because of all these changes, organizations need to understand this change and act accordingly on their marketing front also, for their marketing strategy in line with for making their marketing strategy in line with the digital scenario or ecosystem, right? Now, what will happen? These are all the expected outcomes, or I would say spending of new consumers, right? I'll just give you some examples also, that why I'm saying so, right? So obviously, the new consumer which has evolved because of this COVID is having its spending on cheaper goods. That is the one thing which is going to happen. More and more cautious about health and safety, that will lead to compromise on other expenses, and basically reducing the ticket size. That is what basically is going to happen. So now more and more people will either delay their, I would say, spending towards purchasing something. They will reduce the ticket size of their spending. That is also going to happen, and based on that, more spending will be happening on health, safety, and everything, right? 2 or 3 months back, we became very casual, right? We became very casual. All of you will agree to this, that now things are in control, and possibly in next 6 months we'll be out of the corona zone, right? But the recent lockdown in Indore, Bhopal, and other cities of MP and across nation, the recent increase in the cases have again is repeating the same thing, that we are not going to come out of this, at least in near future, right? So it will remain there for 1 or 2 or 3 years, and that is, if this is going to remain there for 2-3 years, then how we as consumers will change, are changing, and will change in future. That is very clear to understand, and very important to understand for all the marketeers, right? More and more expenditure will happen on home fitness, home entertainment, and home cooking, right? All of you will agree. If you are actually following various groups on Facebook, you will frequently get videos, or basically the status which talks of the people who are actually going or having their gym at their home, or they are actually attending some online yoga classes or gym classes and making themselves fit. Out of this, many people have even started new business lines, right? They've started doing many things at home, and based on that starting, right, they have chosen it as a business aspect, as compared to previously, which they were not doing, right? In the same way, the people will be having increased social media, which we have recently seen with the fact that earlier people used to spend 2 hours, now they are spending around 4.5 hours, right? They will avoid going to hospitals, and this is what the broadly things will be happening, and consumers will be changing, right? Now, obviously, this change is happening, but what are the implications for me as a marketeer, especially in context of digital, because of all these changes which COVID has posed, or which has COVID has forced us to actually change on these lines, right? Let's have a brief discussion on that, so that we'll be in a position that what implications are there for a marketeer based on this discussion of changing consumer behavior, and what as a brand you need to understand on this front, right? Believe me, it is not a temporary disruption, rather it is a paradigm shift. So we need to understand. Some of you still feel that after 6 months, 1 year, things will be normalized. But just imagine, once these things are normalized, we would have been changed. That is for sure. And this change is happening subconsciously in all of us. This is happening subconsciously in all of us, that we will realize 1 or 2 or 3 years down the line, right? So therefore, believing it only a temporary disruption is not the right approach to this. As a marketer also, we need to understand that this will change all of us, that how we live and how organizations need to do business, how we as consumers have changed. That is what the one thing this there's an implication for all as marketeers, right? Being virtual is new normal. There is nothing new in this. We are taking or having this session. You all are, if you are a faculty, you all will be having your sessions or classes online. We are doing many things online, which we are not doing online, right? We are meeting people online. There are meetings online. I am sitting in my room, and the person who wants to meet me is sitting in the next room, and he actually have a Google call or any other platform which he or she is using to meet me, right? Even the meetings at our institute, meetings in the ministry, meetings in the government bodies are all happening online. And soon this will be there, and this is not going to be changed in near future also, right? There is a fact which I would like to share to all of you. TCS by 2025 has declared that we'll be making around 75% of our facilities or people or our employee to work from home. That is another very interesting thing which TCS has said, right? So by 2025, that is 4 years down the line, how things will change on multiple fronts for banking industry, for say, for example, IT industry and other industries. That is what is going to happen, right? Another dramatic shift which has happened, which all of us is observing. As a marketeer, you have to be very cautious about this, because now millennials or the young people are acting as adult. This is very interesting, a dramatic shift on family dynamics front, right? It is very noticeable that now young people, the millennials, they all are acting basically as adult, informing senior members of their families, right? So now even my parent, my grandfather, my mother wants something, that how to do it, she or he asked me to let them explain about this. So that is another which was happening earlier also, but now it is happening more frequently and for more purposes, right? So my father never asked me about how to pay bills online, how to get recharged online, but now he's doing it on his own using all those platforms which are available online, right? Or how to transact using some bank app, that is also now they have started doing it, right? So broadly, these are the implications, broad three. This is not temporary. Be ready for more and more virtual meetings and virtual gatherings. And basically, as a marketeer, you have to take care of your adult, that is the adult of the family, to actually reach out to the people. Though you are not marketing to adults, but you have to take care of this fact, so that they can convince their family members on the front, right? Some brands have started doing it. Some brands will be doing it in future, or they have to do it. If they don't do it, they will have to suffer, or they will have to bear the losses of being the leader in that particular segment, right? This is going to happen, right? Some examples I would like to show you, some videos or some websites which I would like to show you to make you understand these 4 points which I'm actually trying to put you out of this whole discussion post-COVID scenario, that how COVID has changed all of us, the lives for all of us. And based on this discussion, what as a brand, as a marketeer, I need to do on multiple fronts, and what digital or what role digital can play for me to actually ensure these four things, right? So the four things which brands can choose in these volatile times and the times to come is basically this. That is, one thing is the help. That is one thing which brands can do is help, which they were doing earlier also. But now you have to be more cautiously doing it, and you have to be more proactive in doing it. That is what basically this thing is telling, right? Second thing which you can do, or which you can think, or with the strategy which you can adopt as a brand, is basically keep your consumer informed. So that the second thing which Kotak has done, which I'll be showing you one video, that is inform them about the updates which are happening, the changes which you are making, and assist them during the whole process, so that they actually become or remain confident with you, right? Entertain, that can be another strategy which brands can adopt. The idea is just to engage them, right? Either through helping, or through keeping them informed, or basically to entertain them, or finally to connect them, which Swiggy has done recently with their potluck, Sunday potluck kind of thing, right? So as a marketeer, as a brand, please ensure to do one of these things, or four of the things, or two of the things, or three of the things which I have shown you, to actually ensure or to reach out to your potential audience or target audience through digital platform or even traditional platforms. That is what this is, what is all about, right? So for example, what Mgmt did during COVID times, and now still they are doing it, they launched a website, a micro website, where they were actually sharing the food, under the ages, or I would say under the initiative that is Mac family, and they were actually distributing food to all the homeless people, believing that it will be of great help in these tough times. So as a brand, you have to help. You can use, or you can choose this path of helping people so that they remain attached with you. This is what the people have done, right? I'll just share the website link to all of you so that you can have a detailed understanding of this. But this is what one thing which brands can do, right? Second thing which you can do, what Kotak has done. All of you would have seen this video multiple of times on YouTube or any other medium. This is what Kotak has done, that remain connected with your people through informing them, right? So this video where the Sanveer Singh was used as a protagonist was basically, they launched India's first video KYC, right? And that is what this video talked of, this whole thing talked of, that basically in this tough time when you cannot visit, or you need not to visit to our bank things, we'll be doing it online. And that is what these brands, especially private banks, have done it. That is to inform people. Or even you can use to engage your customers or clients with this part, that is entertaining, or entertain them, just like Bingo did by launching this Comedy Adda on YouTube as a channel to engage the people, not only during lockdown times, but even after that, right? Or even connect with them on multiple fronts and ensure that you are actually satisfying their needs, just like what Swiggy did through their potluck, Sunday potluck wala case, right? So broadly, this is what the implications for all of us as a marketeer. Now important is what this digital can do for us in ensuring in these tough times, that what digital can do for us, while for helping people, for helping our target audience, for informing them, entertaining them, and connecting them. That is what we'll be having a discussion for next 15-20 minutes. And what are the broad learnings, right? What are the broad learnings for all of us based on the discussion of past 1 hour, that what digital can do for us, it has done for the countries and the brands in the past, and what it can do for we as a country, that is India, and we as a marketeer and brands in future. That is what this section will be talking of, right? So broadly, based on the changing face of the consumerism, right? How the change will be reflected in digital consumerism. That is what this slide will talk of. And then I'll be having a one-to-one discussion with, on each point which I have written, that is these 6 bullet points. That is based on the changes which you observe right now because of the COVID scenario or because of the pandemic scenario, how as a global or as a digital marketeer are implications for me. That is what this slide will talk of, right? So broadly, I have divided this into 6 bullets. One is basically disruption. Second is obviously this, not only COVID, but before that also there is a huge disruption in the industry. And because of all this disruption, how things will change for all of us, that is I'm going to talk of. Second thing, how things have changed in past so many years from being social media to the second part, that is social media, right? So I hope I have written both the words same, that is social media, right? But the meaning is different, which I'm trying to communicate to all of you, that earlier as a social media person or as a marketeer, the focus was basically on social part, right? For that particular media, right? Now that focus has been shifted from being social media to from that social media to social media. That media part has taken over against the earlier part, that is social. Because of the disruptions which was brought by Geo, because of the services which they provided on 4G. So earlier also we were having digital access, but that was 2G, 3G. The speed was very low. But because of the Geo disruption or because of the Geo revolution, things have changed. And what changes have happened? That is what this statement will talk of. In short, this 4G or Geo revolution has brought the broadband for the masses. That is what this thing talks of, right? Another very interesting insight which this discussion has brought is basically from 60 seconds to 6 seconds. This where I'll be talking of attention span, but I'll be giving you some insights that how things have changed from being a time when marketer used to spend 60 seconds for their consumers. Now consumers are not ready to spend their 60 seconds, and therefore things have changed from 60 seconds to the next level, that is 6 seconds, right? If you can convince your consumer or attract the eyeballs of your consumer in 6 seconds, then only you will win the game of the marketing, otherwise not. And if you want to do this, then digital medium can only help you to do this. That is what the whole idea of this point is. And then few minor but important, that is fintech, how this financial technologies and all these platforms and apps have brought all the people who were not earlier with the formal economy, they are now brought into the mainstream of the economy using all this digital revolution, which has happened on digital on fintech front also, right? And then finally, mass customization of everything, that is data and insights. So let's quickly understand all of them for next 5 to 10 minutes, what I mean by them. That will be the final, I would say, takeaways for all of you out of this session, to make you understand that what digital is doing, has been doing for all of us, and how, because of the COVID or the changes which are, or the challenges which are posed by COVID, how digital can or help us to overcome those challenges, right? Disruption has happened. This is not a new thing which has happened, right? It has happened it is happening continuously for past 5 to 10 years, right? But after COVID, this has happened. There is sudden growth in this. You talk of any industry, you talk of banking, you talk of education, you talk of, say, for example, IT industry, you talk of BPO industry, you talk of any other industry, retail industry, they all have gone online. That is the disruption which has happened. Even the things which which we cannot think of are going online, just like medical services, just like the telemedicine or things like that, right? And that is not going to stop in future. That is going to be there in years to come, right? Second thing is basically social media versus the social media part, right? While traditional media has always been one-way communication, social media changed this, right? But in recent years, even the things have changed for social media context also, right? Social media helped the people like us, you, me, and all of us to raise their voice against the things which are going on in the country, against any movement or in favor of any movement or something like that. It has even helped me to reach out to the more and more masses, right? All these things are used by marketeer in a very effective manner. So earlier, though the power was with the social part, but now this power has shifted from being social. Let me just put it this way. The power has been shifted from social to the media part. All the marketeers and brands have realized this, and therefore using this aspect, they've started using social media as a social, not as a social media, but more prominently as a media for them to reach out and to talk to their potential customers, right? Geo targeting has emerged in the present scenario, which is all of us are aware of, that is basically now we get customized promotional activities, we get customized promotions on our mobile phones or laptops. That is all because of this social media and digital platforms, right? So now even the brands looking at the past record of our purchase or our buying behavior online, they have started giving us some suggestions and some promotional activities which are specifically for us, right? So I hope, how many of you, I don't know how many of you have observed it or not, when I was showing you the video, right? On the right hand side, there were many videos which were there in line, right? In that case, that is the YouTube. And the same happens for all of us. Just check your YouTube. You'll realize that whatever kind of videos you normally see or you view, that kind of suggestions either on the front of Bollywood songs or say for example some political videos or something like that comes to you as suggestion on or recommended for you. That is all because of this geo targeting. So the videos which YouTube is showing to me as recommendation is not correct for any other participant of this workshop, and maybe different, very different from the people who are in South, maybe very different from the people for who are in say North India or even in some other country, right? So broadly, I won't say that social media is not social now. It is social, but now that media element has taken the front seat of the whole part, right? Third thing, which is very clear to all of you, that is 4G and beyond, that the broadband for the masses, right? See, Jio has not done anything new. They simply brought in the 4G. So earlier we were having 2G, 1G, 3G, all of them were there. The same thing is being provided by Airtel and other thing also, right? The only thing which Jio did, which as a marketeer I should understand, is basically that now consumers are turning to be the biggest beneficiary. Jio brought the 4G broadband for the masses. They were so cheap when they introduced, they were free for 6 months, right? So they were so cheap that people have started or shifted from being 3G to 4G. They started shifting from that part to the next part, that is 4G, right? And therefore I'm talking, that is the biggest thing which has happened on the digital front, that is so-called Jio revolution, right? So the same service is provided by other service providers also, but Jio being the first mover, right? And giving this power to the hands of the people, this is very interesting and important for all of us to understand as a marketer, right? Because now if you target the potential audience using traditional media, I'm not saying it is wrong, but if you are forgiving or at the cost of digital promotions, then definitely you all will be suffering because of all this thing or the trends which have happened, right? Last few discussion points, out of which this is very interesting. That is basically your 60 seconds to, just a second, right? This part that is moving from 60 seconds to 6 seconds, right? All of you will agree that our attention span has reduced drastically, right? That's why I'm writing it from being 60 seconds to 6 seconds. There used to be time when there was 1 minute, 30 seconds, 45-second time when people were enjoying watching an advertisement, right? But now this is not the case. Now people actually skip the advertisement if you are not convincing them in 6 seconds. And that's why the phenomena which I'm talking of is basically this, from moving from 60 to 6 seconds, right? Just observe yourself, right? Whenever we are in a classroom, whenever we are in a session, right? As a participant, right? How many times we all watch WhatsApp? How many times we all watch Facebook? All of you will agree that multiple of times. Even every hour, every 15-20 minutes, our hand goes to our mobile phone, looking at that whether there is some new message on WhatsApp or Insta, some new like or something like that. That is what is happening, right? Second thing is we all have started talking in emojis, right? So whenever, if I want to say something, I'll be just putting my hand. I'll not be writing it is okay, you are audible, you are not audible, sir, please, something like that. I'll be either doing it like this or this. So I'll be just using emojis. If I'm angry with somebody, I'll be using some emoji related to that. If I want to send love to somebody, I'll be using some emojis. That is what we are doing right now. This all is happening not because of the facility which is provided by all these social media platforms, but this is all because of the transition which has happened from being 60 seconds to 6 seconds, right? the news now, we have stopped reading newspapers. I'm not saying all of us, but most of us, especially this new generation, which I'm talking of 20, 30 years, 20, 25, 22 years old. We all are, most of us are, say, we have crossed 30, but the new generation, that is our youngsters, that say around, who are right now at 17, 18, 20 years of age, they have stopped reading newspapers, they have stopped reading magazines, they've stopped reading, I would say, novels, right? What they are doing is basically they are using this, either Twitter or any other platform, just to have a quick look at all these news items, right? So in short, all this transition which I am talking of has led to a new phenomena, which is so-called short video phenomena, which all of us are watching on a daily basis on Instagram, on Snapchat, on any other platform, that we are having short videos which we are enjoying to watch. So now we do not read the whole status of a particular person. We do not go through the whole post which is written by somebody on Facebook. We simply watch the video and come to know that, boss, this is what is going on his or her life, right? Now, if this is happening at our front as a consumers, right, marketeers need to understand this, and accordingly they have to shift from the traditional medias to Facebook, to further, that is the next level, that is Insta and all that. It is only because of that now influencers and celebrities are asked to promote some products on their Insta page, or say their Facebook page, or their Snapchat page. This is only because of this, because ultimately now people are not watching or reading newspapers or watching TVs, but they are with their mobile phones constantly. And if that is the case, then as a brand, I have to understand that scenario, right? It is only because of this phenomena of 60 to 6 seconds that now we are having listicles in shorts, which actually provide you news in less than 60 words. And there is a new term which I would like to say, that is social journalism. So there is an emergence of social journalism which is happening right now because of all this, right? So now we do not read newspapers, we do not watch TV. What we do is basically we surf on a frequent basis on WhatsApp, and we get many news items. So lockdown hai, we got the news on WhatsApp, right? And within 30-40 minutes we got we even got the circular from the government of MP that this is what the instructions would be, right? Any other thing, if some celebrity dies, if something is happening, if somebody is pregnant, if somebody has somebody, I mean, say for example recently Karina or anybody else, that all we are basically getting on social media, either on WhatsApp or Insta. And therefore there's a new thing which is happening around, that is social journalism, right? Many media houses are fighting against this also, because this will kill their industry as a whole. But ultimately this is going to remain here for longer, right? And then finally the last few points, that is fintech, bringing the unbanked into formal economy. This has happened, as I told you, as I've given you some facts also of 2017 and 18 and 19, and even during COVID era, that how things have changed. UPI transactions have changed, use of credit cards have changed, people using apps, and they are actually the transactions on apps, all these apps, that is your Paytm and your Google Pay and all that, GPay, that is what basically has increased, right? Now, as a marketeer, what are the implications? Obviously, they are having huge implications for you also, right? Now, people, you as a marketeer, you as a brand have to go to those platforms. Most of them have gone to that, but still, if you have not gone, then you have to talk on this. Even if you go to a rural area, you will not find a branch or a bank branch, but you will find people having these apps, and they are making payment through this. So even if you want to pay to your Golgappa wala, to Pani Puri wala, if you want to pay to your, say for example, your house help, you all are using this. And that is what the new thing which was happening earlier also, but in past 10-12 months this has suddenly increased to a next level, right? And then finally the most interesting thing, that is mass customization. Now customized is always personalized, so it cannot be mass, but because of the technology this has become possible, right? So mass customization has become possible. And if you want to scale up your business, then you have to use this strategy, or you have to go ahead with this, that is mass customization using your data and insights, right? So if you want to win the digital space, you have to follow the footprints of Google, FB, or say Apple, what they are doing basically, they are actually trying to build more and more compelling services. Using those services, you are actually reaching out, you are actually using those services, but through that they are actually reaching out to your data. So the emergence of all these apps, OTT platforms, is because of all this, because now companies have realized that if we want to be successful, we have to enter into the mobile phones of the people, not in the minds. Because if we are successful in entering the mobile phones of the people, we are able to understand their minds, and if we are able to understand their minds, we will be accordingly planning our marketing strategy on digital front. That is what basically the new thing which is happening, right? So broadly, this is what all we have discussed so far. With this, I would like to end my session with a big thank to all of you for patiently listening me. I'll be open for some questions if you want to ask. But broadly, what we have discussed is we started with the small case that was related to the inspired by Iceland, which actually talked of that what digital can do for you, and it did for the country. So the same thing can happen for a I would say for a brand also, right? Then we deep dived into further facts and figures of digital marketing, especially in Indian context, that how we as consumers of India are changing, how our behavior is changing, right? And then suddenly what changes happened because of this pandemic, that is what we had a discussion on. We as consumers have changed, and because of all these changes which has happened, right, we talked of, or we ended up with the final point, that is basically as a digital marketeer, as a digital consumer, how my face is going to change, and as a marketeer, what I need to understand, or what I need to take care of. That is what we talked of to end up with. With this, let's end this session. If anyone is having any issues or any question or anything which you want me to repeat, just let me know. Otherwise, let's let me just call it a day.
Participants, you can unmute yourself and speak in case you have any opinion or any query. You can put it on to Dr. Prateek, sir.
Nothing.
Dipti ma'am wants to say something. Dipti ma'am, you can go ahead.
No, let the participants ask their queries first.
Either they got everything or they got nothing out of it.
No, we got like
No.
everything, I guess.
Okay. No issue. Anything, I mean, which you would like to ask, or which even you would like to contribute, because we all are sailing the same boat, right? So I just raised some points which all of you would have tried to understand, and then basically just give your opinion about something or your experience during this COVID times, and how as a marketeer you have to change. That is what you can just put on some things on that aspect also.
Sir, like in finance, we are in habit of using one term which is known as financial inclusion.
Yes.
So can we say here, like looking at the current situation, can we say that like the example you quoted of Iceland or like other examples, can we say it is also a site of digital social inclusion? Can we say that?
Yes, correct, very correct. That can be put in that form. See, ultimately, financial inclusion was a term which was coined to bring on the people on in the mainstream of the economy through the channels which we are having, right? So the channels like banking channels and all that, right? That is what we used to do, right? But COVID and all this digital disruption has taught all of us one thing, that not only the traditional channels, but also the other channels, like as you are already saying, the example which I have given, the example which you have seen, that this is definitely the term which you are saying is very correct, that this is basically a combined way of digital as well as social inclusion of the people. Rather, I would say financial inclusion or social inclusion through a platform called digital, because digital can do it in a better way as compared to any other platform. That is what the thing is, right?
Right.
Yes. There's one more thing, Reshma Sane. Okay, she has written how to handle the negative impact of the digital marketing as a marketer. Okay, so Reshma, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, Reshma, just tell me what are the negative impact of a digital marketer first. I mean, what is your experience? I'm just asking, right?
One second.
You can write it down also if you.
Network issues there. One second.
Achha, okay, okay. So, according to you, what do you think? What are the negative implications? See, for anything, there are positives and negatives. Let me just give you some examples. When TV came to Indian households, right? I'm talking of 20, 30 years back. When they came to our households, right? People started talking that this will create problems for our kids, which happened also, right? People started calling it idiot box, but ultimately we passed on to that. We moved to the next phase, that is internet. Then from internet we moved to the social media, we moved to the video form and everything, right? So obviously, how to deal or handle is very, I mean, I would say it is a very relevant question. That for a brand, if it is acting as a powerful source, at the same time, it may act or it may actually create a negative part to you also. That is for sure, right? So you have to be very cautious while dealing with the people on this medium or social media platform. That is what needs to be done. And as a brand, as a marketeer, you have to put in something in place, right? Some very strong norms in place to ensure that you actually reach out to the target audience in the right way, instead of using or instead of actually reaching out to them in a very different or negative way. That is what I can say for time being, right?
Sir, I think Reshma ma'am has faced some network issues. So
Yeah, I got a message. Yeah, I got a message from her, and I think
okay.
yes, she has written also. She has written back. She has written one more message. So I think broadly, see, there is a negativity and positivity in every aspect. So if you talk of any media, there are some negatives, there are some positives, right? So you have to, as a marketeer, as a brand, you have to be very cautious while dealing with them, and that is what right now I can just put it in this way. Okay. So I think let's wind it up, ma'am. I think.
Surely, Pratik sir, I would request Dipti ma'am to at least just sum up the session once and give vote of thanks to Pratik sir. Dipti ma'am, please.
Thank you so much, Kiran ma'am. And first of all, Pratik sir, it's nice to see you digitally back in IBMR. And as
Ma'am,
a
I
resource
came
person,
to the institute, I think 1 or 2 months back, but I couldn't
right.
meet because of some reasons. But I'll definitely visit during holy time, right?
As you said that digital is, new normal. So it is perfectly fine. So, getting your insight here on this digital platform of STTP on Management 4.0. So I take this occurrence to thank and express my sense of gratitude to our resource person for that day, Dr. Pratik Maheshwari. And sir, you have, made us understand the concept of, entire ecosystem and changing paradigm of digital marketing over the last, 1 year, especially during this during and post COVID era. And also, sir, you have, taken wonderful examples. You have started with a wonderful video related with Iceland, how Iceland has, came back from the volcanic eruptions, and how they have, country used their tourists, their real people as their brand ambassadors in order to promote the tourism in the country. Then also you have, given your acumen related with how the Indian youth actually, Indian youth has come up with strongest player in using digital platform per se. Likewise, you talked about the, Janta Lokpal bill, how Indian youth and several other incidences which happened, good or bad. Some few incidences were which we witnessed over the past few years, and of course they were a result of increasing and skyrocketing demand of digital platform. and importance. And moving further, sir, you have also, given your insight based upon how these upsurge in digital searches, and marketers, they are deciding their marketing strategies based upon the recent upsurges in the digital searches. Then you have also shared interesting details about how the present day new consumer is behaving. Like you showed us various small examples that how we are behaving pre and post COVID. So our needs have changed, our ticket size have changed of spending, our spending habits have changed, and Indian consumers, including us, we have moved towards more DIYs and health related products. And of course, you talked about that what brands should adopt. So you have given examples related with Mgmt, and they have utilized health strategy. They have created one micro website to help needy people in these difficult times. Then you also talked about how informing customers, entertaining customers, as well as establishing a connect with the customers are playing very important role in present day scenario. And also you talked about disruption. So how disruption led us to all of us making digital, and how the emphasis of social media from social, it has taken over by the media per se. And then you also talked about the example of 4G of Geo. Then it definitely 4G, we all are the witness that how it created a rage in the telecom sector altogether. So like you quoted several examples, and it is impossible to sum up all the insights which you have given. So once again, like from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of entire STTP organizing committee and IBMR IPS Academy, I would like to thank Prateek sir once again for coming here and sharing your valuable insights with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you all the members of the team, also all the faculties at IPS for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to talk to you all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prateek sir, and thank you, Dipti ma'am. Participants, we will resume back in 1 hour. We'll be having a 1 hour lunch break, and sharp at 2:30 we'll be having a session of Dr. Yogesh Upadhyay sir. He'll be covering the transitions from digital marketing to modern marketing, and he'll be focusing and emphasizing upon marketing 4.0. He's Dean Jivaji University. So don't miss his session, because he's a very learned person and you'll enjoy his session as well. So participants, thank you for being interactive and being so enthusiastic. Thank you, Prateek sir, and with your permission, we can end this meeting for now. And the feedback link is there in the chat window. Please fill it in